All right, woman with courage. How was my day yesterday? In the beginning of the day, had um, a disconnect with Corinne, starting and trying to get to work with working together on the project on Co-Legend. And I think it started with also reading the book together and the different mentality or mindsets of where I want to go, where she wants to go. Then it was about quickly making progress where I have a hard time actually enjoying it, and not enjoying my work is not what I want. But instead, I want to find ways of how I can enjoy my work while having it meaningful instead of an either or question. And I didn't have an easy way, or I didn't I'm struggling with the language here now. I didn't know how to get both at the same time. So instead, I opted for taking the de-stress version, not joining in when it comes to quickness. And so instead, I worked on my own for a bit. And then later on, there was an inventory sale interlude where I sold my keyboard, and not my computer keyboard, but my MIDI keyboard. And I used that for learning how to play fantasy songs and the Tetris theme song and stuff like that on the piano. And I really liked this experience. And I was even tempted to, or I tempted myself with thoughts like, I could just keep it and not sell it and start playing again. And now it's gone, and I'm glad that it is, even though it was not easy for me to say goodbye to this, because I was still sticking to a fantasy of being great at also playing the piano, which is something that I now, considering what other things I have on my plate, is definitely not a priority for myself. So I'm glad that I did let that go. And if I really badly want to go back, I know that there's always a way for me to do so. So then later on, I researched a bit for also, I think, things like payment systems, how to include that, technical stuff. And it's really so much for me to do as catching up with the technology and as a developer, and at the same time giving myself the tasks and knowing what to do, and noticing that the future of the project is partially already doomed because there's changes up ahead, ahead of the timeline for the technology stack that I'm using. And these are all things that are solvable. I can solve all of them, but I don't see how I can solve all of them without spending time in all of them. And this is something that, so I'm the bottleneck again here. So it's, will I fix the technical issues, or will I fix the concept, and in what order will I go about doing this? And then there's higher level thoughts of how can I take the whole project to the next level by leveraging the whole open source principle, not hosting the data for everyone, but instead maybe saying, okay, everybody hosts his or her own server, and I'll just help people set up their servers. So to essentially decentralize the whole project. And these are all thoughts that I'm trying to make headway on, but overburdening myself when I try to solve them all at once. And this is, again, a repeating pattern where I want to get myself support, and where I also struggle in my day-to-day work, where when I realize that Corinna is not the person to deal with, to talk about these strategic decisions, because it's not her forte. And so having a project partner is something that I want, but again, having the project partner without having a running project is also not the ideal scenario for me. It is doable, but that again would mean spending time doing just that, and I want to get going as well. And so something where I lifted my spirit today is I talked with a friend who I haven't contacted for quite a while, or rather he contacted me and I called him. And then I also talked with him about how I'm struggling with the technological side of things, and how getting support is something that I really care about right now. And so he's gone on holidays now for a week, and I'm really looking forward to connecting when he's back and making my life easier and in more, it's not easier really, but having more impact, taking that burden, getting to the next level, and giving him an opportunity also to have huge impact in life through me, helping other people by helping me unblock my own bottleneck. And so that was a big part of, I talked a bit about today. So going back to yesterday, then later on, I had a game evening together, which is the co-legend game events, playing the Cards of Life game, and together with Robert, Corinne, and Martin. And I really had a very nice round. I think the atmosphere was great. And then later on at home, I then went back into expressing intentions, talking to Corinna, sharing my struggles basically. And I noticed also going back and forth between how hard it is for me to really share my intentions without triggering the blaming her. And that is something where I don't know how to do it verbally. I don't know how to do it in terms of tonality, because she notices my frustration and my I don't know how to solve it yet, and how I see the whole configuration and working together with her as something where I'm really struggling with, which in combination, I can totally see how it sounds like blame. And this is when I reflect on it, I also see going on as well. So how can I not blame her and still get the support from the person that is nearest to me right now, which is her? And right, so then later on we did a church walk, and after that I called it a day. And today I am I worked on during the day the coalition game plan, where I was also reviewing it and sharing a lot of what I did with Corinna, trying to tell her what the whole thing is all about. And again, it's now the time that I have left in today's slot is not too much, and yet I want to get a lot done. So I want to take care that I do sessions and write down beforehand what I'm trying to do for every session, and then reflect on how the session was, which is a lot of overhead, but at the same time, if I thus can keep myself from running in circles, then that's what I will do. And that's it from my side. If you have any feedback, I'd love to hear it. If you know how to help me unblock my bottleneck, to AKA how to help support me, and there's tons of ways. Even if you want to, I can always. I'm very sure that you can, and together we can find ways of how that is possible. It's really a matter of if you see the potential and if you're willing to do it. There's so many co-roles, and I'm taking up a lot of them. So I'm happy to give up or pass on some of these responsibilities to you, give you the powers involved in that, and change the future of the project, and hopefully making people more legendary. Okay, all right. So I wish you a legendary day, and I hope to see you soon. And I want to end with remembering that the best is yet to come.